Very good evening to one and all present here. I'm Sinan Iyer. I'm a plastics engineering student.
And I'm Saurabh Kulkarni. I'm a PhD student in Mechanical Engineering Department.
And we're here to propose our idea for the Proactive Student Program. Now, how many people in the audience agree with me that there is a pressing need for financial literacy among the youth population in the country? Great, more than 75%. So, the current student loan debt crisis in the United States has taken its toll on the financial economy, with the estimated debt to be close to $1.4 trillion. In such a scenario, there can be three different ways to alleviate these existing debt crisis problems. One of them could be the universities could reduce the tuition and cost-related expenses. Maybe not with the current inflation rate. Banks can reduce interest rates on the loans. Well, if they have an incentive, sure. But can students become financially literate, learn to manage their own expenses, and have a certain amount of savings? That's what we're here for. The Proactive Student Program, our executive summary, we seek to alleviate student loan debt crisis, inculcate financial literacy, and form a three-way partnership between banks, students, and universities. This provides an advantage to all three entities such that students come up with good credit scores, low student debt, banks have more customers, and universities have higher enrollments, and other advantages too. So looking at the root cause of the high amounts of debt for students when they graduate, students, the large amount of debt is associated with a lack of a proper budget, lack of expense tracking, and lavish spending. But the root cause leads back to a lack of financial literacy. Through the Proactive Student Program, we provide financial literacy education to help students prepare a budget, track their expenses, which is the first step to achieving financial freedom. And here's how we do it. Our service is mainly divided into two components. There's a financial literacy education component where we are working to design an interactive visual learning curriculum with the help of financial experts from universities and the industry. There will be courses ranging from how to calculate compound interest to how to trade stocks, along with hands-on experience for using trading softwares. Now, the second component is a Proactive Student Account, which is basically a regular student account, but with a higher interest rate and certain tax benefits, and is also devoid from brokerage administrative fees and other minimum investment fees. The funds will be available to utilize by the student, either for education, starting their own business, or for other investment purposes. There could also be special offers, such as a higher interest rate during occasions like Thanksgiving or Christmas, when they get a lot of money from relatives. Moving on to our business model, the revenue will primarily be generated from the financial literacy program and the one-time fee for the Proactive Student Account. The revenue generated will be shared between the Proactive Student Program and the educational institution helping build the program. This is kind of similar to the 529 plans, which are currently adopted in the industry, but it would be without any penalty fees. As tuition fees and other college-related expenses continue to go up in the coming years, we estimate a large percent of the student population to be involved in the program. And with more emphasis on STEM, fine arts, and social science-related activities in high schools, we believe we can fill the gap in the financial aspect to provide an all-round education.
So in our case, the target audience will be the parents of the students, especially high school students. Since they are minors, they cannot legally have a bank account, so parents will be our target audience. And the competitor analysis, we have existing financial literacy programs compared to our programs. The advantages are we have interactive visual learning curriculum. We'll also be training students on using softwares for investing in stocks and brokerages. And these will be taught by the professors and professionals from the universities and the financial institutions. Coming to the 5 to 9 plans, our plan stands out because we'll not have any penalty fees like the 5 to 9 plans have. And similar to 5 to 9, we'll have the tax benefits. And also there will be no minimum investment or any one-time fees on these accounts. Our timeline we are planning on doing it in 2 phases. The first phase will establish an LLC And then we'll develop the collaborations between our firm, the universities, and the financial institutes. The phase 2 will be the alpha prototype, which will be the development and testing of interactive curriculum. And going forward, we plan on filing a patent application for the same. So this is our proposed budget for now. We plan on doing a more intense survey on the existing plans and conducting more surveys, talking to students and stuff. And moving forward, we'll be developing the curriculum, as we have already mentioned, and then we'll purchase some licenses for the softwares that we plan on implementing in the curriculum itself. Thank you.
So, you talk about comparing this to the account to the 529 plan and the benefits over the 529. How do you anticipate working around some of the legal challenges related to that side of things?
You can elaborate.
So the 529 and the penalties and things, because of the tax treatment of it, there's some of those penalties aren't necessarily the institutions; those are IRS penalties.
That's right.
That are built into the law side of it.
That's right. So, I mean, if you look at the existing 5.2 plans, like you said, the penalties, they're either associated if the funds are not used for to enroll the student into that particular educational institution. So ours is kind of flexible in that sense. Like the students can either use that to be enrolled in an educational institution or to start a business. We would ensure that it's not go towards any wrong purposes.
What are you guys' core competencies in building this? Where do you see that building your strengths?
It's going to be in the interactive learning curriculum. It's not going to be just like courses very bland that are taught by a professor. It's going to be more of a one-on-one interaction with the student. And as a visual curriculum, there's going to be, it's going to be from industry experts, so they know their stuff and they know what they're talking about, along with guest speakers if necessary.
And are you selling, who are you selling to? Are you selling to the parent, or are you selling to the end user?
That's right. So our primary target will be the parents, because they know the importance of financial literacy for their students. And if there are parents who have to tap into their retirement savings to enroll the students in the college, that's something they'd be thinking about. So those are going to be our primary target audience. And we'd also look to partner with universities who can help us develop our curriculum to form a 3-year partnership.
And how do you think you guys, moving forward, what would be the first level of validation to sort of prove that you can have success in these efforts? What would that be?
So of course, the first step, we would establish ourselves as a limited liability company and start working on the prototype. Then we would test the likelihood of the success of the prototype by conducting a survey to see how people like this. That's how we proceed to move forward initially.
So when you start that with the prototype, which you talk about high school and college, is there one of them that, who you would target? Would it be leaning more towards the high school side of things? Or?
That's right. So the sooner the better. So we'd be targeting the high school students predominantly, but we'll seek help from the college institutions in terms of the educational component of the program. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.